With the checkered flag flying at Echo Park, we are now halfway through the NASCAR Cup Series season. 18 down, 18 to go. And I think we are definitely far enough along that we have a litmus test of who's good and who's not. So today, I want to go through and grade every one of the full-time chartered drivers. Let's just roll into it. Starting team by team, let's go with the Trackhouse drivers. Ross Chastain, for me, gets a B. He has been carrying Trackhouse this year. This team has been nothing short of mediocre outside of him, as well as maybe one other event, and he is competing each week for top 10s, top 5s, and he even got a win in the Coke 600, beating the Goliath of Hendrick Motorsports. Ross, to me, is not somebody that I would see in any kind of normal year or system being a championship threat, but he's somebody that's a wild card each week. He can put himself in position to win, and in my opinion, he's the most intriguing driver of those not in the elite core. Shane Van Gisbergen, on the other hand, for me, gets a D+. I get it. He dominated Mexico, right? And everyone's going to look at that, and they're going to look at the playoffs and call me old-fashioned, but I don't think that one win should wipe out a 35th place season, which is more or less what he's been. He was a mercenary hired to win at road courses, and he did just that. Daniel Suarez, who in my opinion, and call me harsh, gets an F. He is sitting barely in the top 30 in points and has had a failure in every way this season. He's not even been at the level he was last year, which honestly wasn't that good. And while he has been the cornerstone that Trackhouse has been built upon, it's not like he's been elite at any point. Now, in a contract year, him being as all-time worst, yeah, it's a straight F for me. Next up, the Team Penske drivers. Austin Cindric gets a B for me. Listen, take the penalty away, and I would argue that he is the second best driver at Penske right now. He's been somebody that has competed more up front, led more laps, and all in all just looks like a much more competent driver. Now, granted, I think it's getting the right people behind him that's really helped this team out, and the two teams still has a long way to go to be an elite driver. But when you look at Cindric, you look at a guy who might be comparable to some of the other guys we see up at the top of the sport. Guys who took a couple years, say even like his teammate Joey Logano, to really get things cooking. And it does seem like there's a little bit more groove to that 2-car this year. Ryan Blaney, for me, gets a B+. Listen, he would perfectly be an A if it was just off of speed. The 12 team is one of the fastest ones out there, and when they're not DNFing, they're a threat to win just about everywhere. The problem is they have like 6 DNFs so far this year. That's going to weigh your grade down. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how much this system can wipe that away. You got to stay on the track. Joey Logano, on the other hand, I give him a B as well. I think he's much more competitive than last year, and if he had this season last year, I don't think we'd see the explosion at the end of last season's result. Next up, the RCR duo. Austin Dillon, for me, gets a C. He's been average, but he's way better than his abysmal 2024, which, let's be honest, if it wasn't for that Richmond race, none of you would remember. Kyle Busch, though, gets a D-. This has been arguably his worst season yet. He's had speed in certain races, like Texas, and he makes mistakes. He'll have speed in other races, and then the team makes mistakes. And at other times, he's just completely out to lunch. In my opinion, Kyle Busch's time is over as a championship contender, regardless of where he goes. But because of his age, time's running out in general for him to just be competitive and get wins again. And super speedways are great, but I want to see Kyle Busch actually compete somewhere that is much more skill-based. And unfortunately, I just don't see it anymore. The expanded front row team is interesting. Noah Gragson gets a D, in my opinion. He's just been on the struggle bus all year. It seems like he and this team are completely out to lunch, lost in so many ways. And while there was promise in previous seasons for him, they have not in any way really gotten anything rolling. And at this point, the Ford team just needs to actually start getting more top 20s built up and finishing races. Todd Gilliland, I'll give a C-. this team's just a bit off, especially compared to how Michael McDowell did last year. And even if the numbers are kind of close, you could tell McDowell was actually a lot more competitive than the numbers would let on. Whereas for Gilliland, he's had moments, but again, I just don't see it. And this team was supposed to take a step forward this year. Zane Smith getting a C+ to me is indicative of him having a quietly solid season. It feels like we see him more than his teammates, and we see him more often as the year goes. Not great, but that 38 team is improving, and that's what I want to see out of these guys. As for the most well-rounded overall team in NASCAR, it obviously has to be Hendrick Motorsports. Starting with Kyle Larson, I'll give him an A-. He has the wins to back up having an A+ kind of year, but I'm going to be honest, since the disappointment of the double, Larson has seemed very mortal in a lot of ways. The greatest driver in the world talk right now is on the back burner because people are asking if he's even the best driver in NASCAR, which I think is an amazing testament to how good he's been, as he hasn't been awful by any means in this stretch. But it does seem like the 5 team is sort of just going back to the mean of the field right now. There's plenty of time, and I think they'll improve, but for now, an A-. Chase Elliott, I'll give an A. Now, he's been consistently, I think, a B driver for most of the year. He's getting the top 20s, getting top 10s, has the best average finish, really, of anybody out there. But he wasn't getting the wins until Atlanta. Say what you want about a super speedway and all of that, especially these days, but I'll say that Atlanta at least gives the driver more options, and I think Elliott had that. Getting the win, regardless of where it's at, though, does elevate a season in some way. And I think, as I said with Shane Van Gisbergen earlier, it elevates you really probably a letter grade. And that's where I'll give Chase Elliott that benefit of the doubt, being second in points, only to his teammate William Byron. The points leader gets the only A+ of the video for me. Overall, he's been the most consistent guy in NASCAR, been one of the fastest guys out there, and while he only has the win in the Daytona 500, he hasn't really needed to do anything else. The bonus points he'd get for winning the regular season championship would really shore up any of the holes that he has right now, and this team is always better as the year goes on. So I could see that A+ maintaining the rest of the year. And then there's Alex Bowman. I'll give Alex Bowman a B-. I think he's the 4th best Hendrick car, and it's pretty clear to see at this point. He's always seeming to be a step or two below his teammates, and honestly, at this point, he's had such a huge slide down the points after being in the top 5 earlier this year that a B- seems kind of generous. Now, RFK is an interesting cookie to crumble. Brad Keselowski, to me, gets a D-. This has been the worst fall year over year statistically when it comes to points earned of any driver in the NASCAR Cup Series. And a lot of people look at that crew chief. But I will say, overall, it's just been atrocious. Yeah, there was a good run at Kansas. Yeah, there was good things to show from Atlanta. But Atlanta looked to be one of those few options where Keselowski was an elite driver. And now, to me, everything looks to be hinging on Daytona. And that should be indicative of how much a champion of this sport season is gone, that Daytona is where the season hangs in the balance. Can't say the same about Chris Buescher. He gets a B. He's been solid, leads RFK overall, and more often than not is competing week after week. Doesn't matter if it's a road course, intermediate, super speedway, this 17 car can win anywhere. As for Ryan Preece, I'll give him a B+. Has he had the year of Buescher? No. Has he had a career year, though? Yes, and that elevates you in my opinion. He's getting better as it goes. This team is getting faster as the season goes on as well, and I really think that if they make the playoffs, they'll be a very sneaky good team that nobody really wants to have against them. And now we go to Spire, which is another interesting one. Justin Haley, to me, gets an F this year. Listen, I know that he lost Rodney Childers early in the year, so losing a crew chief, not going to help. Not going to help you in any way reach your expectations. But this year is completely sold. They need to just focus on next year at this rate. This team has been out to lunch in so many ways, and honestly, a lot of people are questioning if they'd run better if Corey LaJoie were still in the car. I think Haley has what it takes to be a competitive driver in the Cup Series. Spire seems to be a more competitive team, but this 7 team outside of really Bristol has been a no-show all year. Michael McDowell, to me, gets a C. It's about where I'd expect him to be. Honestly, though, for me, a little bit below the expectations of where I thought he could be. There's still time, and this team is starting to gel more and more, and you're seeing that speed build up each week. And McDowell could be a threat at a road course or a super speedway, but at this point, he's running about where a Spire car should run. Now, Carson Hocevar to me gets a B-. Listen, the results are not good, but the speed is good, the driver's been doing good, and he has been in the headlines, I think, more than just about any driver that's not in the elite tier of NASCAR right now. Hocevar, you could argue, is the main character of 2025, and it's because he is racing up front, and it's because of the antics he has to get there. Colleague is another one that's kind of interesting. For Ty Dillon, I give him a C. Nothing more I can really say outside the fact that he's exactly who we thought he'd be going into the year. AJ Allmendinger, he'll get a C+. He's maximized what Colleague can do, but Colleague is a mid-pack team at best that has pop-up runs. And when Allmendinger has a pop-up car, he makes the best of it. Joe Gibbs Racing is another one that's interesting. Denny Hamlin gets an A. Age hasn't slowed him down a bit. He has tons of wins. He is able to take a week off and nobody even noticed because he'd come back the next week and be pretty damn good. Briscoe, B. Slow start to the year, and that weighs a lot of this season down, but he's starting to meet expectations. Run in the top 5 more, get a win, all of that. He should be running up there, and now he's doing so. As for Christopher Bell, of course he gets an A. Closest one I think I can give to an A+ of any of them as well. He's solid. He's exactly what we expect him to be, which is a championship-level driver. As for Ty Gibbs, I don't know what to say, man. D+. He's improved some, and they're making some adjustments on top of the pit box to try and get him up there, but there's no reason a Joe Gibbs Racing car should be running this bad. When you are getting the name of J.J. Yaley invoked for the NASCAR Cup Series for your career early on, you're not doing good. And the rest of this team is leagues better than the 54, even as the 54 has gotten better in the last couple weeks. As for Josh Berry and the Wood brothers, I will give him a B-, and I think that Las Vegas win bumps this one up from a C. He's had speed at points of the year, but not been able to keep it underneath them. They lag behind Team Penske overall. I'd say all 3 of those Team Penske cars are regularly ahead of the 21, and it does seem like this team is about a 20th place car in any given week, and every now and then they do well. Berry has the ability to elevate this, and I think Penske overall has been better, and they'll get better as the year goes on, but I can't do much more than a B- outside of that Las Vegas win this year. As for 2311, I think all 3 of these ones are interesting and not in good ways either. Bubba Wallace gets a C. He's doing exactly what he normally does in the season, hot and cold. Started hot, has been slipping to cold and mediocre, and the thing is, Bubba Wallace has proven this year that he probably will never string a full season together. I mean, he's never going to. He's going to be one of those drivers between 10th and 16th every single year. He's never changed, and at this point, he's given me no reason to think he will. Riley Herbst, an F. I mean, how many times have you guys heard that there's been 2 2311 cars out there? Yeah, he's been awful, and there's no upside so far. As for Tyler Reddick, C+. This team's been off. They can't capitalize, and it's just getting more and more mediocre. They're seemingly running every week between 11th and 19th at the end of a lot of races, and in my opinion, 2311 should be better. As for Cole Custer and the Haas factory team, a D-. That's about what we all expected. As for the team that, in my opinion, is the best story so far this year, Legacy Motor Club. John Hunter Nemechek gets a B-. They've shown more flashes overall with this 42 team, and it seems like they're competing in the top 10 more often than not. They even strung together a couple 6th-place finishes in a row. And I think that John Hunter Nemechek can be a top 20 driver in the NASCAR Cup Series with how this team has been showing up with speed each and every week. As for Eric Jones, B+. The start of the season was terrible for the 43 team. Outside the top 30 in points, even towards the quarter mark of this year. Now they're ascending up the point standings, and they're even at the outskirts of the points conversation when it comes to the cut line of the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. Hayek. Sorry, I wasn't clearing my throat out. Hayek is where Ricky Stenhouse is driving in that 47 team, and I will give him a B. This team and car is an outside the top 20 car, and they're maximizing it every week. Anytime they're staying out of trouble with Hocevar, this team is staying about 2 to 3 positions better than you think they probably should be running in that race. Stenhouse has done a masterful job, and I wish more people would give him some flowers and love for doing so. Last, and certainly least, is Rick Ware Racing with Cody Ware, who gets an F. Why? It's Cody Ware. So there are my long and extensive thoughts. What are yours? Give me the grades for every driver that you like, or every driver in general, down in the comments below. While you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to this channel for more great and fun NASCAR content. Thank you so much to all my channel members for your continued support, and until next time, have a good one.